Suspend your disbelief, your rational, analytic mind, just for a minute, just for the length of this podcast. What if all I am about to tell you is the truth? What if the information you will be provided is from a divine source? Just for this time, I am your Axis Mundi. Consider this podcast your channel, your second opinion. When I do a reading, something larger than myself is working through me. So ask what you wish. This is your channel, your doorway to the divine. Welcome to John's Tarot. Welcome to you from wherever in the world you may be. Welcome to you from Alabama.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
Welcome to you from Wisconsin.
I'm trying to free your mind, Neo, but I can only show you the door. You're the one that has to walk through it.
Welcome to you from Canada, Ontario,
You
Canada.
take the blue pill. The story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill. You stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
Welcome to you from Mexico.
I'm completely operational and all my circuits are functioning perfectly.
And welcome to you from, believe it or not, from Russia.
This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back.
Well, welcome to you from wherever in the world you may be listening. If you would like me to mention your particular city, send me an email and I'll mention your city on my intro. I just don't have the capability to identify what cities with my current podcast host, and I also get some information from my Jetpack from my webpage who's been listening. I am going to talk today. What else? I'm going to talk today about tarot. However, I also wanted to say I'm also experimenting with Facebook, and I'm really happy with Facebook. I'm doing surprisingly well. Looks like I found me a home, and that home is with Facebook. So I'm posting these podcasts up on Facebook. I also posted, I'm selling a set of Nordic runes I made. Now, I know they're a little pricey. Nobody has bought them. It's an experimentation. But they've been made personally by me. And they carry a little bit of my energy with them, but you will have to activate them. So go on to Facebook, John's Tarot, 2 words, and you'll see the runes if that's something you want to be interested in. I'll make some more and start getting them up there. And for right now, that is going to be my store. I've got some other things. I'm just experimenting with the store idea right now. Today, I'm going to talk about why I read tarot and my reasons. Why I read tarot? What happened to me that I read tarot? What's going on with that? Which is a heck of a good question. And how my reading of tarot has morphed. Right now, I got a couple of invites this week to appear on some other podcasts, and I'm going to take up one of the hosts, and another one of the hosts I declined. And the next week I'll have an interview. Today I'm going to talk about me a little bit, and we'll do a reading. But I do take tarot as a very serious thing. It's not a carnival sideshow. It's not something for freaks. It's actually very serious for me. And I'm going to talk about why and how my impressions and what I'm doing with tarot, how that has morphed. At first, I was just curious. What is tarot? What does that do? How does that work out? And I bought a deck many years ago, and I rarely used it. I used it on occasion. I remember I used it around, I don't know, at this point, it was around 15 years ago. I had a job, ambulance job, and my question was, should I buy a car? I was concerned that ambulance job would be able to support a car, and I used it for that decision, and I bought the car, and it was suggested, don't worry about it, buy the car. I bought the car, and everything worked out. And I didn't get much into it after that. Okay, very, very good, very interesting. And then I've talked to you before about how the I Ching used to talk to me about. And I explained what the I Ching is. it encouraged me that there was more to me than what I was aware of. And I was encouraged to investigate that. What is that more to you thing? What is that about you that I don't know? So I started investigating different things. And one of the things I investigated and messed around with was Nordic runes. Okay, so I had studied Nordic runes for a couple of years, and I consulted the runes along with I Ching. I Ching has always been with me for 36 years, and it's been a trusted companion through life. I'll tell you, the I Ching has been great. So I started messing with Nordic runes and learning Nordic runes, and I learned Nordic runes. Okay. And then I combined it with tarot. And I combined it with tarot cards, and I got a lot of information. So I threw tarot cards and I threw some Nordic runes on there with it, and really got a lot of information from doing that combination of tarot and Nordic runes, and I continue to do that to this day. I had some shamanic training, and I did some shamanic training. And also part of that shamanic training was with divination, and it led me to believe that there's maybe more going on into this universe than what I originally assumed. How can I say this? I did some things. I was down in the Peruvian Amazon, and I did some things with a native shaman. And that was quite interesting, kind of quite eye-opening, which led me to believe, and I'll show you that picture sometime, that there is more going on in this universe than our society allows us to believe. So I really still don't believe I'm doing this stuff as a hobby, Nordic runes, and it's given me some personal insight into what's going on with me, and I start fooling around and learning tarot. And then once I was working at this ambulance company, and I did some, and I had enough of a grasp of tarot, I felt, to do some free readings for people. If they were interested in free readings, I would do a free reading for it. And it was more of an experiment for me. So I did these free readings. Let's say I did 7 or 8 free readings. And out of 7 or 8 free readings, I had like 5 or 6 hits, direct hits, where I got a direct response from the people I'm doing the readings for, and I just had to say, what's going on here? There's more going on here than what I originally thought, and it caught my attention. Where I'm saying, this is really quite interesting. How could that be? I would expect, doing some free readings, I would expect to get, let's say out of eight readings, I would expect by odds to get two direct hits. But out of 8 free readings to get 6, I'm going, no. There's something else is going on here. Something's going on here that I don't understand. And then I started experimenting with it. I still didn't believe it, but I'm thinking there's something going on here. I remember one time I did a reading for myself, and I frequently do readings for myself. And by this time, I had maybe two different tarot decks, 2 or 3 different tarot decks. I don't know what it is about tarot, but after you start reading tarot, you start collecting tarot decks. Even though the cards advise me not to do that, I don't do it to this day. I probably got about 6 or 7 decks. 6, maybe 5 decks, and I use 1 or 2 on a regular basis. But anyway, I do a reading for myself. I forget what the question was, and I threw 3 cards about this question I had. And, okay, I didn't like the answer. Well, I don't care for that answer at all. I'm going to try this again. And I got another deck. I got a separate deck. And I shuffled them up. And I dealt out the cards. I drew the same 3 cards. Now, you don't have to believe this. It's not necessary that you believe this. I'm just explaining what happened to me. I got the same 3 cards out of a different deck from the same question. What are the odds of that? I mean, really, what are the odds of that happening? It seems a little far-fetched to me. And I frequently, uh, just happened to me the other day, I have a question. I do a little reading for myself every day. I want to know where I'm at spiritually, emotionally, in the bigger cycle of things. And I threw three, I usually just throw three cards for myself and three runes. And I threw three cards, and okay, that's what it says. And then I had a different question about another subject, and I shuffled the cards and I dealt, and two of the same cards came out. What? You're kidding me, right? But this happens with frequency, and I'm just starting to think that okay, the universe wants to get my attention about a certain issue. It would behoove me to pay attention. Now, at this point, I'm starting to believe. I'm starting to believe it a lot more. I'm starting to believe that there's definitely more to this than what I thought. Uh, and I look at other people's experience, let's say on Reddit, and they're getting this too. So I start experimenting more with tarot, and I started John's Tarot because the first thing that a new tarot reader you know, wants to do is wow, I got this amazing gift. I could do this thing, and I'm going to share it with people, and I'm going to become a tarot reader. So I started experimenting with becoming a tarot reader, a public tarot reader. Now, I will do individual readings for people if requested, but I'm really not promoting myself. I'm trying to make a business out of being a tarot reader. It's funny when I do readings. I did readings for this one gal, and people at work would just like they're testing me to see if I'm full of crap or not, and they'll always won't tell me everything that's in their question. And this one girl was just testing me to see if I was full of crap or not, and I found out something about her personal life that she didn't want anybody to know. So see, when I do a tarot reading for you, if I were to meet you, then I could do tarot readings online. If you want to make an appointment with me, we could do that. I know exactly what you tell me. I know exactly what I see. I know exactly what you let me know. And I do not delve into people's personal lives on my own time. I don't care about your personal lives. I definitely don't want to know what you think. That's none of my business. Serenity is learning how to mind your own business. I don't care about people's personal lives. I don't care what they think of me. I don't delve into that. So if I do a reading for you, all I know is what you've told me and what you showed me through your behavior if I know you. Well, if you have me do a reading for you, though, now you've invited me in. Now I could come in and I'll look around and I'll find something. And that's what happened to this girl. She was just testing me, but she invited me in and I found something. It wasn't anything that tragic, but she was just so surprised by it that she started to cry. So that's why I prefer, I don't want to upset anybody. I don't want to make anybody mad. I don't want to make anybody cry. But when I do a reading for you, I prefer that you have a question, something that we're going to inquire about. Because if you just allow me to come in and root around, I'll find something, and it may not be something you want me to know. And I'm starting to believe this stuff a lot more. I experimented with John's Tarot, so I'm amazed. I can read tarot, and with tarot, I'm able to see behind the curtain. What I mean by that, see behind the curtain. So with politics, with politicians, and I don't delve into a politician's public life, or excuse me, their private life, only their public life, only what involves us as policy, only what would involve us as important for us to know about our leadership. I don't want interested about anything else. And anyway, so I started doing John's Tarot, and so one of the first things I did was I did a thing on Brian Laundrie. You remember Brian Laundrie from a couple of years ago? And he was missing. He killed his girlfriend in Colorado, and he was living in California, and he turned up missing. So I did a live thing on John's Tarot on Brian Laundrie, and I'm experimenting with tarot now. I'm coming around to it. I'm thinking, maybe something is going on here. And I found where Brian Laundrie's body was, the general vicinity that it was in this national park where he was dead. He was dead. I found out through tarot that he was dead, and he was in this national park. And I found out this information 2 days before it was released in the news media. And I was pretty surprised. And I got some calls from my friends. I had posted it up on YouTube. Now I've taken all that stuff down. But now I am how can I say this? I'm a documented psychic, all right? If I could find this kind of stuff out before it happens. And it's quite interesting. Okay. Something's going on. Something's definitely going on. Some of the other things I did was I did Brian Laundrie. I did one about Christy Giles. Christy Giles passed away. She was a young model, and she overdosed with some people. And these people just put her on the steps of ER and then ran like hell. And she ended up dying, and so did her friends. One of her friends. And I did a reading on Christy Giles. What would Christy Giles like to say? And I got a reading from beyond, from Christy Giles, and it basically, and this I've taken down too, but it was that she had accomplished everything she wanted to accomplish in this life, and that we're not to mourn her passing, but celebrate her life, and that she's okay. It was that type of thing. Okay, that was quite interesting. Then I did one on just for fun, in a July or June or July. To commemorate George Custer. I did, let's see if I could get a hold of George Custer. And I did a reading on George Custer, and I got some pretty incredible results. He was kind of upset about the fact that he was when he went into Little Bighorn, he was trying to do everything by the book. And he felt that the U.S. Army had taken away the Custer magic, that element of surprise, because he was going to do everything by the book. And he felt bad about the loss of his command and the loss of his people, but he really felt that it was unfair. Kind of interesting, don't you think? And again, another reading I took down. And then I started with some of the other readings I did. I did a reading on mass shootings. So I'm able to find lost people. I'm able to look behind the curtain and find lost people. I'm able to look beyond the veil of death and talk to other people who have passed. Then I did one on what the heck was that? We're having all these shootings. I'm 17 minutes into my program. And we had all these shootings, and I'm wondering what the heck is going on with all these shootings, And I asked questions about that, and the tarot revealed to me a very interesting point of view. And that point of view was that these mass shootings are more a cycle of violence. So we as a society are in a cycle of violence, just as if you were in a relationship with an abusive partner and you have that explosive event, bam, where there's a violent event. And then there's a period of remorse and a quiet period, and then tensions will build, and then bam, you have another violent event. Well, in terms of our gun violence, we are, as a society, in a cycle of violence. You'll notice these things are always happening with the same type of weapons. They usually happen in the summertime. There is an escalation of tensions. Unfortunately, with what happened to incumbent President Trump, he was a victim of the cycle of violence. And it was in the summertime, and he was actually kind of escalating that cycle of violence. And we've got to really be careful that we don't bring trouble into our lives. But it wasn't really a political event, what happened to him. He just got caught in that cycle of violence. And then I asked the tarot a couple of weeks later, I said, well, what's the solution? What's the solution to this cycle of violence? And it gave me a solution. Absolutely incredible. And the solution was that the people who are most invested in firearm freedom, and I'm not against owning firearms, the people who are most invested in it, I said gun collectors, these are the people who know most about it. These are the people who have the most at stake. And these are the people who should be crafting our gun control legislation. And I thought, what a unique idea. What a unique point of view. And that was given to me by the tarot. Of course, the gun advocates don't want to do that. They don't want to do any work. They don't want to look at it. They say this is in the Constitution and that is that. Well, come on, that thing in our Bill of Rights, that's over 200 years old. Possibility that that point of view might be a little bit obsolete. It was written in a period of our history while we still had a frontier, and you really needed a firearm. And I'm not against firearms. I think people should have the opportunity to own a firearm, protect their family, and protect their home. But those concepts are obsolete. And when I proposed this, that these are the people, you are the people who should be crafting our gun control legislation, they shut it down. They do not want to hear about it. They completely shut it down. But I have to admit, it is a real interesting point of view. And this is what I got from the tarot. And then so now I'm starting to get outside of I understand the things I can do. That's on the old JohnsTarot. I'm starting to understand the things I could do. Then I had an experience with individuation. Individuation is it's Carl Jung talks about it, and we have within us what we call the subconscious, and it is a separate consciousness, a separate identity that exists within all of us, and it displays itself in our dreams, in our desires, in some of our actions. And the goal of a human being is to become individualized, where you say, we understand this. You understand this separate identity, and it communicates with you, and it's no longer, you understand its needs, its desires, and you kind of meet it halfway. I had an issue about an old girlfriend, and I kept on having this dream about wandering in the old girlfriend's neighborhood. Well, that was my subconscious. And then I had this dream about playing cards, and in a card game, somebody was cheating, and wait a minute, I'll tie this into tarot. So my subconscious felt that it had been cheated out of this relationship. And then this old girlfriend, I forget, we got in contact through classmates. I wrote her a letter. She wrote me a note. I wrote her a note. And I realized that I'm not the same person, the same 17-year-old kid who thought she was so special. And that she had her own life, and she's not the same person I knew all those years ago. And I had some closure with that, and that I was able to let that go. And that subconscious part of me also was able to let that go. And that was individuation, resolving this internal conflict with my subconscious. And it was led by the tarot. How was it led by the tarot? The tarot is a pictorial language. It is a language that has been developed by humanity, and it takes a while to learn, and it takes a while to incorporate into your psyche, into your average day of life. But it gives your subconscious a way to, you're able to communicate with that subconscious and understand what's going on. When we talk about, Google this, The Fool's Journey with Tarot, that is a very common motif within tarot. And what the Fool's Journey is that journey to individuation, to Carl Jung's individuation. And it takes you through the major arcana, and as you learn the pictorial language of the tarot, you eventually achieve individuation. And then the cycle starts over again. So these are some of the things I have learned with tarot. I am not so much interested in being an individual tarot reader right now, because I don't want to talk about, does he love me? I'm really not, if you want to know if he loves you, you should ask him. Or better yet, how does somebody behave? You can tell more about their behavior, what they feel about their behavior, rather than what they say. And that is the adult way of doing it. And that's why I'm not a public tarot reader. Plus, I just don't seem to be getting much call for it, because I don't want to answer those kind of immature type of questions. I am more interested in mysteries. And like I said, that time I had 3 cards out of 2 different decks, the same 3 cards. I have a genuine mystery here in front of me. I mean, a mystery equal to how do they build the pyramids? It's a mystery that I can't answer. And it's a mystery that I've been having fun exploring. And that is why I do tarot, is because it is a mystery and it has validity. It's had an effect in my life. And if you play with it, it will have an effect on your life. Some people aren't ready psychologically to deal with the effects that tarot can have on their life. But hey, and that when I look on Reddit, a lot of these people, they're asking that same, does he love me? Will he call me back? And tarot will answer them. And I think the tarot just kind of throws you a little bait and then draws you in, like it did to me with the 2 or 3 cards on different drawings, out of different decks. It draws you in, and then it takes you on a journey. And that is kind of where I'm at with tarot now. Today, I'm going to do a quick reading, and then I'm going to let this go. I hope you haven't found my little discussion boring. Let me move over to my tarot cam. Oh, there we are. And I'll do a quick reading. I was watching, if anybody out there would like a free reading, especially for the month of January, people in recovery or who are early in recovery, divination has been very helpful to me in my recovery and has revealed certain things about my personality that I have needed to take a look at. And then it's been very helpful. If you're in the early throes of recovery, especially January is a big one. I mean, drug and alcohol recovery. Send me a note. What is your question? I'll throw a couple of cards for you. I'll do a quick reading for you, and I will send it out to you. I'll probably just do it verbally, and I'll send you a little voicemail over the internet. It'll be really quick down and dirty, but it'll be free, and you might find it helpful. So if you have an issue like that, please let me know. Let me see if this is working here. We're going to say free readings. I also do free readings on, there we go, on Friday at 10 o'clock here on Twitch. I'm going to have to see about doing something a little different. I'm waiting for Spirit to guide me, maybe on, if I'm doing a live tarot reading, maybe I'll be doing it on Podbeam. That's who I'm with right now. Podbeam. And find a way to do free readings out there. But we'll see how it goes. Today I'm going to talk a little bit. I read about, I was watching a video by Richard Dolan. And Richard talks about UFOs. And even when I talk about UFOs, it's about consciousness expansion, right? What if UFOs do exist? What if these things in New Jersey really are UFOs? What if there really was an event over Washington in 1953, I believe it was, June 1953, the UFOs out. What if that is true? What were they trying to tell us? It's kind of consciousness expanding as you consider those things. But I'm listening to Richard Dolan, and Richard Dolan is talking about, I said I'm not going to do politics. This is borders on politics. He talks about the elites. He talks about deep state. He doesn't really use the term deep state. He talks about the elites. These elite people having control of our government and who had control of our government and our information that gets out to us, either through like CNN, Fox, and it's all being controlled by this elites. They call it, Donald Trump calls it the deep state. And these guys have been controlling information regarding UFOs, and they're not going to release that information. They're keeping that information close to their chest. Now, I have tarot. I can look beyond the deep state. I can look beyond the news. I can look beyond that stuff. And I do, and I often do, to get an idea of what's going on. Tarot is good for that type of thing. Mostly, though, I use it for personal growth, spiritual growth, and things of that nature. But Donald Trump has made it a campaign promise. This is one of his big things, just to do away with the deep state and to reveal information. He had a shot at it what, 4 years ago, 1920s, 2017, 2018, to do away with the deep state. And he was unable to do it. They are firmly entrenched. And one of the things he's going to try to do with this administration is to get rid of the deep state. He's bringing in his own people. And this deep state is firmly entrenched. Donald Trump is a temporary employee. He'll be here for 4 years, and then he's gone. But the people in the deep state will continue to exist. So my question to the tarot today is how. See, I'm not being critical of anybody. How successful can Donald Trump really expect to be with getting rid of the deep state in this administration in this 4 years? So let's go ahead and shuffle the deck. I'm using the electronic deck just for the heck of it, and I'll try to use my my other deck. I have to work out some camera things. This is what I was able to put together for today. My ability to read tarot is a gift. It's an expression of divine love, and I'm here to share it with you in that same spirit. How successful will Donald Trump and his administration be in getting rid of the deep state? What can we expect in terms of that effort during the next 4 years? And I'm going to do 3 cards, and I'll do 3 runes. Let's see what comes up. I'll be interested myself. How successful will the Trump administration be in ridding us of the deep state? Our first card is the 7 of Swords. That's not such a bad card. Our second card will be the 2 of Pentacles. Actually, this will be rather interesting. And our third card, Temperance. Moderation. Actually, very interesting cards. And I'm going to go ahead and throw some runes on this. As I talked about earlier, Odin, Freya, please help guide this reading. For the 7 of Swords, the 2 of Pentacles, and the Temperance card, how successful will the Trump administration be in rooting out the deep state? First rune is Orthelia. It has to do with inheritance and stripping away. Yeah, man. I mean, this is crazy. And then the second card for the 2 of Pentacles, second rune, is what do I have here? This one is called Ansus, the Messenger. Very interesting. And then the third rune for Temperance. And I just have the bag here. I'm shaking them up, and I pull out one rune. Oops. I dropped one. I got to put them back in. There we go. Oh, I bend over. I'll groan like an old man. Because I'm getting to be an old man, which is better than the alternative, getting to be a dead man. I'd rather be an old one. For Temperance, well, what can we expect as far as rooting out the deep state? And the rune is Berthel. I'll do a quick reading on this. This one's not very difficult. The 7 of Swords. 7 of Swords, see a man holding swords on his shoulder. You got tents in the back, a couple other swords around him. He holds the swords right up against his chest, right up against his tunic. Now, this has to do with people not being we may not be very happy with the way people are behaving. Now, I think this has to do with Trump. He's not very happy with the way other people have behaving, and I usually have 3 meanings. And it also has to do with us. We're not been very happy with the way people have been behaving. But he has a sword of truth. You know what the truth is. And you hold a truth close to your chest, like he's holding those 3 swords close to his chest. So he knows what the truth is. He's holding that truth close to his chest. But it also advises sidestepping controversy. You may not be happy with it, but the way to success and getting rid of this problem might be to sidestep controversy. rather than directly engage it. And then you throw the controversy off balance. And that is the point of sidestepping controversy, sidestepping difficult people. And then the rune is Arthilio. That has to do with inheritance. So this is a problem he is inheriting. He did not create this problem, but it is a problem he is inheriting with his administration. He inherited it last time. He's going to inherit it again this time. And also it has to do with, I have something. It has to do with stripping away the old in order to reach your inheritance. So he's going to, and that's what he's going to have to do: strip away some of that old deep state control in order to collect his inheritance of a freer state. The Two of Pentacles. There's old DTJ. He's going to have a lot of balls to juggle. You see a man there with two runes and the infinity signal, so infinity sign, and he's going to have a lot of balls to juggle, a lot of things up in the air, right? And he's going to have to be careful which thing he takes on first. We know he's got a lot of things going on, a lot of problems he is inheriting, a lot of things he's got to straighten out. And he's going to have to be very careful which thing he addresses first. And it advises him just to take your time, and advises us to be patient, as we understand he's got a lot of things going on. Even though I'm not a big Trump supporter, I have to admit he's got a lot on his plate, a lot of things that he's going to have to do. And then the rune is called Ansus, the messenger, Loki. He's going to receive some messages from the deep state, probably some very unpleasant messages from this deep state, and he's going to have to deal with that. We're going to have to continue to watch what kind of messages Mr. Trump releases about his efforts to relieve us from deep state control. And we're just going to have to wait, see what kind of messages come our way. He's got messages coming his way, and we are just going to have to wait as he juggles the balls he has up in the air. So right now, the final card, Temperance, Donald Trump is in a period of moderation. You see the angel, and he is going from, he's got two cups. One cup is pouring into the other one. Actually, it's the lower cup is being poured into the higher cup. So he's coming from a lower point of view, a lower position of power to a higher position of power. And it requests that you use moderation. You see the angel's also got one foot on the ground and the other in a pool of water, which definitely means he's testing the waters. He's testing the waters and seeing what he can do, what he cannot do. And the tarot is suggesting he use moderation, temperance and moderation. So you do these things slowly, gently, not radically and suddenly. And that's where Trump is as he's going to take office. And then the final rune is called Pertho. It's a game. Pertho looks like look at it. It looks like a cup. It looks like a gambling cup, a dice cup. It's a game. It's a gamble. It's a chance. And he's playing the game. He's going to take a chance. There's a bit of a gamble. But also from Bloom, it has to do with, Bloom is another interpreter of the runes. It means the phoenix. So Trump is the phoenix. He is the rising of the phoenix. We all know the story of the phoenix. The phoenix burned up and disintegrates itself, but it rises up from the ashes, and that's Trump. He is the phoenix. He's rising up from the ashes. He's rising up from defeat, and that is really pretty accurate for what he's doing. And he's going to have to be able to take like the phoenix, like the bird, take a broader view of things and take a look at it and see which way would best be a way to deal with this and to exercise his power You know, it's been giving me very positive readings on the next administration. I asked about the financial issues a couple weeks ago. If you look back at some of my old readings, and it was suggesting that we just give him a year and see what his policies do. So the tarot and the runes have been very, very favorable to our upcoming president. And I'm not particularly a Trump supporter, but I'm going to have to wait and see, just like everybody else. So for this week,
Goodbye, Professor Marvel, and thanks a lot!
well, it was my pleasure. And I will see you all next week as I again plumb the depths. And I'm going to have an interview for us for next week. I won't just babble on like I did today. I hope you enjoyed why we choose tarot, why I choose tarot, why I choose to stay in tarot. And maybe you'll investigate tarot. Maybe you'll need a reading. You'll contact me. And so something will work out. I'm on Facebook now. I will post this up on Facebook. John's Tarot there is 2 words. John's Tarot. Probably somebody had the other one taken up. And I'll post some things up there. And remember, be careful, be cool, be kind, find faith, find courage. And I will see you all again next week. All right. Bye-bye, everybody.